The Tim and Tony podcast is brought to you by Tim. Why do you use Bucked Up?
Because Tony, everybody needs a little help in their life. I found out a few years ago that I needed that extra push to actually do my workouts at the level that I wanted to be doing them at and to get the results that I wanted to out of working out. And so, one of the most frustrating things is when you're hitting the gym as hard as your body will allow you to, and you feel like you're not getting anywhere. These supplements will really help you get to that next level, get to that next step, and push you to hopefully reach your goals. So that's why I use it.
Bucked Up. It tastes fantastic and it helps you work out. Get it, use it. We have a promo code, right?
We do. Promo code, very easy to remember. It's T and T20. Get 20% off your Bucked Up order. They have supplements, every single one you can think of, shirts, hats, fucking joggers, anything you could possibly want. They've got it.
TNT joggers.
TNT 20. Get 20% off your entire order today online, buckedup.com.
TANDT 20.
Tony, before we had this podcast and we received this next wonderful sponsor, we both struggled with our fashion game, specifically and especially our gym fashion game, which is an underrated part of going to the gym.
Yes.
Please tell the people how they can get more excited about going to the gym and what company they can go to buy some stuff that'll make them feel better.
So what's great is, wow, interesting. We're keeping that in. So all you got to do is go to TidalWear.com, because what you're going to find there is you're going to find some of the most comfortable and flattering, might I add, gym wear on the market. They got hoodies, they got sleeveless hoodies, they got tank tops, they got t-shirts, they got shorts, they've got compression pants, and they've got sports bras, they've got leggings, they've got all of it. It's fantastic. The quality is amazing. It's made for workouts, so they're durable, and it's just plain comfortable. So Tim, what's that promo code?
Very easy to remember. It is TNT15. That's TANDT15. That's 15% off your entire order. You can order one thing. You can order 13 things. You can order 100 fucking things. It's 15% off the entire order at Tidal.com.
And if you want to order 100 fucking things, you do it, and you do it with the promo code TANDT15. Tim, do you care about sustainability?
I do.
Do you care about comfort?
I very much do.
Do you care about style?
A little bit.
Do you care about just looking good?
I really do. I really do care about all those things. I didn't mean to put sustainability. It feels like I put sustainability a little lower on that list than I should have. But I care about like those things deeply.
And in fact, sustainability is actually one of the best parts about what I'm about to talk about. Allbirds, they make incredible shoes. They make incredible clothing. They make incredible socks. Tell us about it, Tim.
Welcome to the program, Allbirds. We're happy to have you on board.
Absolutely.
These are, no exaggeration, the most comfortable fucking shoes I've ever worn in my entire life.
And you don't have to just wear them when you're having sex.
That's right. That's right. I can't believe we just put that in an ad. They look great. They feel better, and they're good for the planet. This is a little bit different than we've done in the other ones. We're going to attach the link to go to Allbirds, where you can pick up not only a pair of shoes, a shirt. They're making joggers. They've got shorts, whatever you want. You buy anything on the store, you get a free pair of socks with it on us. If you do go to the store and buy some Allbirds, please use the link that's in the description of this podcast.
Yes, and they don't do deals like this. This is like the only one out there. Like, this is the one deal. So that's what we're bringing to you guys. You should do it. Get the stuff because it's a great company and they make great stuff. So, Tim, we're recording on December 30th. So Christmas is just a couple days away. Normally this is where I would ask, what was your favorite gift that you got? But no, that's too easy. What was the weirdest gift you got on Christmas?
The weirdest gift I got?
Yeah. And you can go ahead and shout out who gave it to you.
So this is why we don't run the cold opens by each other, because if I wasn't already recording, I would have told you no on this one.
Exactly.
So I have not seen my family as of yet, and so I have not gotten the majority of the gifts that I'm going to be receiving. But
I
did receive some gifts.
Do tell.
I in a white elephant this year, I got a calendar. It's a daily calendar of dogs shitting in scenic backgrounds. So I can't say that someone like intended to give that to me, but I did end up with it in a white elephant. So I feel like that's pretty weird.
So wait a minute. Okay, so let's unpack that. So it's a daily calendar. It's not just like a monthly calendar. It's a daily calendar. So it's like
every day you flip it, it's a dog shitting in a different scenic area.
So it's like what, 8-9 inches thick? It's a huge thing. Okay.
Of just dogs taking a shit.
Like, are we talking like mountain cliffs? Are we talking like by the beach? What are we talking?
I'm pretty sure the first one is like on a beach in Malibu somewhere, and they're just out there taking a dump.
Are there like inspirational quotes?
No. See that you don't need that, like, because you know what it is. That's the thing. Is like it doesn't need. It's funny enough. It speaks for itself. Res ipsa.
Wow.
Thing speaks for itself.
Wow.
It's when you get a gift like that the person thinks of you like an adequate amount. Like they don't think too high, they don't think too low of you. That's who you are.
And on that note, Elvis Monroe, please just get us out of this topic and play us in.
In a crowded room, somewhere in town.
So Tim, are we doing a movie today?
No, I've just got to say we've had some bad cold opens in the past. Like, one of the biggest challenges with having a podcast like this is promoting it effectively and getting people to listen. And some of our cold opens are just like 2 minutes of complete bullshit. Like when I see the stats that like people get past that initial period on our little
it's a blessing.
I'm like, wow, good for you. Like what the fuck are y'all doing out there that you hear that and you're like, yes, daddy, give me more. I don't understand.
Which, by the way, Jordan, shout out. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, shout out to Jordan. So today, there are several movies out that we could do today.
Yeah.
But
Tim hasn't seen any of them, so we can't do it.
It's been a while since I've had the cathartic release of getting to talk about what's going on in the world of United States politics.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
We don't do a lot of world politics on this show.
We don't. No.
Because I'm too focused on how fucked up my own country is for now.
Yeah. For now.
So here's the deal. I think
for this we need like a PTI like rundown.
Yeah, we do need like a little like menu going. Chris, can you please get to work on that or something?
Yeah,
Jesus.
Chris.
Like,
my God, paying you the big bucks,
like
buddy.
$0 an hour. So like, the hell's going on over there? The first thing I want to talk about though is a lot of liberals are taking glee in the fact that Trump, after he said he got the booster and recommended people get vaccinated, that he got booed. The joke's already been made. He may be able to go shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, but he can't encourage his supporters to do the exact opposite of what his sycophants and deputies have been encouraging people to do.
Well, no, he can be a proponent for people getting shot, but he can't be a proponent for people getting a shot.
So I, like many of you, have enjoyed the Alex Jones rant saying that we have Trump now. I'm just
you know what? 2022, it's already starting to change shit. I guess we've got Donald Trump on our team. I didn't have that. I did not have that.
No, I hate to be the guy that shits on people's parades, but I mean, we've kind of seen this. I mean, I want to say it was in 2018 when we had the government shutdown. It was the longest government shutdown in history, and it was over funding for the border wall. And at the end of it, he didn't get it. And he went back to his supporters and pretended that he did. And everything
then asked for donations to pay for it.
And then, and then he asked donations from his supporters to pay for it, and they were cool with it, and they actually did it. So here's the deal. Like, people act like, oh, like his supporters are starting to get onto him. No, it doesn't. You've got to realize that they don't support him for any particular policy other than they feel like he's a quote unquote voice of the silent majority. That's it. End of story. That's the only thing that they like about him. They don't care about a single policy. Don't let them confuse you otherwise. His most ardent supporters don't give a shit about this. They're going to brush it under the rug. They're going to still not get vaccinated, and they're going to prolong this pandemic months and months and months. That being said, I've been begging him to just do what he does best and take credit for what other people have done.
Yep.
And just come out in front of a mic and take credit for it, because I think you're in lockstep with this. I do not give a fuck who gets credit for getting us out of this thing. I just
not anymore. Not anymore.
I just want it to be over.
There was one point many months ago, many years ago now, that I did care about who got the credit for XYZ, because we hadn't been in it quite long enough.
Right.
That probably waned about 6 months in.
Mm-hmm. And now I just want it to be over.
Now I just don't really care how we do it. I just want us to be done. Like, okay, you need me to get, basically, we're not going to be one of the podcasts that starts opining on medical literature. Here's what I'm going to say. No. The medical experts, the professionals that we have, say certain things. I'm going to go ahead and listen to them. If it just so happens that Donald Trump starts echoing what those experts and professionals are saying, then listen to him. If that's it, if that's what ends up convincing people to get it, great, awesome, wonderful. Sure. Listen to Donald Trump and Bill O'Reilly, I guess.
Yeah, like, could they get Clint Eastwood out there too? Like,
to yell at a chair?
No, I mean, yell at anything.
Oh, okay.
I don't care.
Sorry.
Can we get Clint Eastwood? Can we get
John Cena,
folks? Just anybody. I don't even care. Like, just get the most famous conservative people out there to do this. Like, it was so funny early on in this process. They were like, so we're having an event with Beyonce where we're going to, and Joe Biden, and we're going to encourage people to get vaccinated. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, the people who are going to watch this don't have a problem with getting vaccinated.
Hold on. So I think if you were to look at different celebrities, different entertainers, and if you were to look at the vaccination percentage of their fan base, I think Beyonce, now this is just for the moment, I think Beyonce would be in the top 10
one of the highest,
of vaccinated fan bases.
Yeah, she's way up there, I would guess, because my biggest thing from the beginning is like, a lot of these country music stars should really come out and be more forceful with their activism for the vaccine. Luke Combs
I was just gonna say
has been pretty ardent about it, but the
Yeah.
rest of them have been pretty quiet.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not someone who believes that celebrity endorsement is everything, but I don't believe that people sitting in rural Virginia are going to turn on their TVs to watch a concert with Beyonce and Joe Biden. Like, I think that's a waste of time.
I think the most effective mouthpiece that could be used at this point, given what we know about who is vaccinated and who is not vaccinated. You know what? If Donald Trump and Bill O'Reilly want to keep doing their, I've dubbed it Antiques Roadshow, and I've very, very much enjoyed being able to say that in mixed public and see the people
Seats are available.
Yeah, seats are available.
I don't know if you've seen the articles, but these things are like, they're having to rope off like multiple sections of the stadiums they're in because they booked too large of venues for this bullshit.
They're having to treat their venues as though they're the Oakland Athletics or the Marlins, where they're just tarping off whole sections just to make it look less embarrassing. But yeah, Antiques Roadshow, I very much enjoyed that one. But no, I mean, if people like Donald Trump, if people like Bill O'Reilly, if people like, this will never happen, but if people like Tucker Carlson, if those types of people would start saying, I'm vaccinated, you do what you want, just that, as opposed to fear mongering about stuff. Again, I'm not gonna launch into it, but you just start fear mongering about everything. And instead you just talk about what's the fact. Just, hey, here's what these medical institutions are saying. I'm vaccinated. I'm perfectly comfortable saying I'm getting my booster actually today.
Which we know that all on-air talent at Fox News is, by the way.
So if you could just say that and then move on. I'm not it gets dangerous once you start like trying to interpret statistics. That's why we don't do it. The fact of the matter is I'm vaccinated. So, I
think it would help, but at this point, it's the cat's sort of out of the bag.
Yeah,
and they're trying to do what they've been trying to do from the beginning, which is ride the tiger.
Right.
Okay, they're like, we've got this giant tiger who's just running around killing shit, and we're going to try to ride it for our own benefit. And you can't do that. You've already encouraged these people enough. You could, because
or like the famous John Mulaney bit. There's a horse loose in a hospital, and they're trying to just deal with it as opposed to just get the fucking thing out of the hospital.
Yeah, like it's already done. I think if Carlson came out tomorrow and admitted that he was vaccinated, which there's a lot of reports that we believe he is, especially since Fox News has a vaccine mandate at their headquarters. I would imagine that he's vaccinated
at the mothership.
We know that several of Fox executives were among the first people to get vaccines. So,
I mean, hey, we're comfortable with saying we here at the Tim and Tony podcast have a vaccine mandate. That's why Chris,
we do.
That's why Chris had to get it. He wasn't happy about it. No, I'm just kidding, Chris. I actually think he was before he got it before either of us did. But that's not the point. The point is there's a lot of people that are fear mongering and being negative about this stuff when they themselves and their employer are doing basically what everybody else is doing because it just makes sense.
The point is that no one has more contempt for Republican voters than Fox News talent, because the vaccine's good enough for them and their family.
Yep.
But they know that they can rile you up against it. Yep. And they know that they can maintain control and maintain their position as the number one cable news channel in America by appealing to certain people's preconceived notions about science.
They're not only having their cake, but they're cutting it up into nice little slices They're putting them into very nice serving plates, very nice flatware, sitting down around, a table, maybe with even a fire, with some nice music. And then they're eating that cake. They're having it too, because that's kind of how their business model is. And it by the way, money, money, money. As we've said multiple times before, if given the opportunity to make that much money, I don't know what I would do. So, such is life, but that's just the facts. In other news, in other just cheery news, what every single progressive in Congress was assuming was going to happen turns out is exactly what happened. What am I talking about, Tim?
Yeah, so I've had a lot of moments on this podcast where I seem clairvoyant and I'm able to predict things happening before they do.
Yeah.
One of our first podcasts was on what the fuck is wrong with Zion Williamson. I had a lot of good moments over the years, but
you know what? That's actually good. I haven't thought about that in a while, because now his cards are trading for what, like $90?
Yeah, we were really early on. Hey, there's something weird here. There's just a lot of weird stuff.
The way he's making decisions just doesn't quite add up for someone who we're expecting to be LeBron, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all we were saying. And look where we are now. In the wake of the Virginia loss, a lot of people, myself included, were like, we did this to ourselves by not passing anything.
Yep.
And so it then became a rush to pass something as soon as you could. When even at the time I said, look, we need to start getting shit done. This is ridiculous. But I didn't say jam through infrastructure at the expense of BBB. I said that if the infrastructure bill was going to a vote, it would be a bad look for progressives, which they did inevitably, to not vote for it. I think that's a bad look for us. What I didn't count on is them being 100% correct that all of the Democratic leadership was essentially lying, saying that they know Chuck Schumer promised 3 different deadlines, and the most recent one was Christmas, that BBB is going to get passed, but infrastructure, we need to get this through now to show that we're doing something definitively, and I believe that was before Thanksgiving. So they were right. Manchin.
Yep.
Because what we understand is, and again, one of the things I hate about political reportings is that it's all off the record and aides of aides that are giving quotes to like different news publications. But what we know is
in a couple hold on, in a couple of years, we're going to start giving out quotes because it's so far down the ladder that it's just like some like local state congressperson is telling us shit.
Right. I mean, from what we understand is that Sinema has been very upfront with her problems with it. Her problems are ridiculous. Her problems are, I don't want to tax rich people and I don't want to reduce prescription drug prices.
The devil,
But she's been upfront about it. And then what we know about Manchin is it's like it depends on which side of the bed he wakes up on that day. And what it eventually ended up being is I'm not passing this thing because the 1.75 does not factor in that these programs will be likely renewed for 10 years. So a couple things with that. I have so many things on this, but a couple things on that.
Right.
Number one, if you want to ensure that you're the party in charge, making sure these bills either get renewed or don't get renewed, you should probably get this thing passed. Otherwise, you are going to be in the minority. And then you're leaving it up to them, whether they want to take credit for it or not. The second thing, your excuse about, I don't want to leave all of this debt to my grandchildren. Let me tell you a couple things that I don't want to leave to my non-existent children. a climate crisis, childhood poverty.
Well.
I mean, insulin being 10 times more expensive here than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
Private health insurance taking advantage of individuals, Social Security not existing. Those are the things that I don't want to pass on to my children.
But here's the thing. There are ways to walk and chew gum at the same time. We don't have to pick one. We don't have to pick liberal policies or lower the deficit. There are ways to do it. It's just that we won't. And apparently we won't do either. So really saying that we could do both is a moot point because we won't do either. But there are ways to do both. We just have to cut certain things. We would have to cut military spending, or I mean, more broadly, defense spending, but military spending obviously is part of defense spending. We would need to close corporate tax loopholes. We would need to close billionaire tax loopholes. We would need to do certain things in order to find the money, because what we're currently doing right now is we're being a prisoner of thinking that certain things are static. If we pass all these programs, that means we're going to add to the deficit. That's not necessarily true if you do it right. But we have not enough people in Congress to make that happen. Like the estimated the estimated economic impact of $50,000 student loan forgiveness. Some models have it by decreasing the deficit by a few trillion. I don't know. What we know is right now is not working. What we know is right now we're going the wrong way. And so if you're one of those people that are worried about that, which you're not irrational for thinking that, and some economists would say that you're focusing on the most important thing. So who knows? But there are ways to do both things. It's just that we are incapable of doing either. So really, I'm just going to leave it at that, because unless we start doing one of them, it's kind of a moot point.
No, you're right, because it's one of the biggest things that we've always been proponents of over here is it's like, no, you do need to find the pay force.
Yeah,
this stuff does have to be paid for in a reasonable manner. The way that you do that, in my opinion, you can do it a number of ways. You can raise taxes on everybody, because again, the government raises revenue through only a few sources. So you can raise taxes on everybody, which is actually the easiest thing to do, because poor people can't get out of taxes as easily as rich people can. So you do generate more revenue that way. The more equitable way to do it, and the way that we've been saying to do it for years, is our tax bracket system is fucked up and doesn't take into account there are people making gross sums of money every year that don't get reported under our modern tax code. Taxing those individuals is how we've been proposing to pay for all of these things for many years. Cinema and Manchin, but Cinema very specifically is against those provisions because nobody knows.
So I was, what the kids call doom scrolling, I believe, on Twitter. Is that the phrase now?
I think that's what old people call it, actually.
Oh,
I think that's what old people refer to children's Twitter scrolling activity as.
Oh, well, I think I just told
You
on
just
myself.
dated yourself.
Yeah, I think I just told on myself, but whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, I am on the other side of 25 now, so
You are.
It's all just downhill from here. Was going through the Twitter sphere, or the Twitterverse, which now has a whole new meaning.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I saw this exchange between a blue check and a non-blue check. That blue check being Elon Musk, and that non-blue check being just a non-blue check. Bragging
my burner accounts.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully. Bragging that I believe the number was 2 billion is what he paid in taxes.
He's allegedly going to pay 11 this year.
On its face, though, 2 billion, that's nice. Until you realize how much money the man is worth and how much money the man takes in a year. And you actually do the calculations where he pays far less of a percentage than the average person. The average person pays in the 30% of their income. Tim, how, if we can get research as to how much Elon Musk is currently worth and takes in a given year, specifically this past year, since I'm pretty sure he's like quadrupled his net worth.
Yeah, I mean, his net worth is around 260 billion right now.
Okay, so
So
not really all that close. not like, yeah, 2 billion, it's a shocking number. But when you really nail down how much the man's worth, how much the man makes,
if he actually paid it.
Yeah.
Which I believe maybe the sticker price was that.
But we're still not talking about him. For all of us that are hoping that everyone's even just paying the same percentage of taxes, which, by the way, you and I are, I think it's okay if I speak for you. We are comfortable with far wealthier people in this country, say the top 1%, paying a higher percentage, but that we're not even talking about that. The same percentage. If we had a flat tax rate, Elon Musk isn't even hitting that point. So when he goes out and posts that stuff, and then you get the, college frat dudes that are saying like, no, see, he just worked hard for it. And like, that we're going to punish him. No, we're not. This is not a punishment. This is just an equitable solution. This is an attempted equitable solution to a problem that, by the way, those very same people are very worried about. It tends to be that the people that are worried about wealthier people being taxed are also the same people that are worried about the deficit. So, what's not going to happen? We're not going to cut the deficit by taxing you and I. Like, no. Go ahead. Like, my banking information, by the way, if someone ever hacked it, go nuts, dude. Go nuts. You're just gonna be laughing, or better yet, hack into my student loan page. Go ahead, man. You just go ahead. It's not going to do much. If you want to make a payment, you go right ahead. But the point is that taxing people like us, or taxing people even that make considerably more than us, it's not going to make that much of a difference in the grand scheme of, I believe it's at 17 trillion now.
It's 22.
22 trillion. So there's going to have to be some drastic changes. If your goal is to pay that down, there's going to have to be some drastic changes at some high levels of income. There's just going to have to be, because you can only tax lower brackets and middle-level brackets at a certain point that it's going to make a dent.
And I mean, there's a lot of people that argue that based on percentage of net worth that we're already overtaxing, even with the recent tax cuts that are set to expire this upcoming tax year. We're still taxing middle and lower class people above that, which is economically feasible. And that's because the way we have a private jet tax write-off loophole. Okay, like what point could there possibly be to having that? Okay, like you've really got to start like asking, like when people think about raising taxes, they always think that I'm talking about their rich dentist uncle or something who has a vacation home. And that's not what I'm talking about at all. Like there are 10 families in this country that own a third of the wealth. That is crazy. That is actually insane that we allow that to exist. I remember growing up and being in school with very conservative professors who was like, the problem with other countries is that the majority of the wealth is concentrated in a select few who keep it from the rest of them, and that keeps the country poor. It's like, well,
but you know what the difference
well
is?
on our way. We're well on our way to
But
doing that exact same thing.
In their mind, though, the difference, I would imagine, and the only difference that I can really see is that the thought is, well, in those countries, the money is just given to them because they're either part of royalty or whatever. In this country, these people work for it. It's like, okay.
Yeah. We're past that, though.
It's to the point now where that money is going to be in those hands, and it's going to be in like the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th generation of hands.
The fucking Walmart family. Okay.
It's not, we're past the point. Like Elon Musk, as much as people,
excuse me.
What was that?
The Walton family. They own Walmart.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to say. Like,
yeah,
they're on multiple generations.
Yeah.
They are royalty.
Elon Musk is an easy target for this stuff because his numbers are well known and he's very online and all that stuff. And by the way, Elon, please, I know you're not listening, but maybe if your Neuralink pings every single time your name is mentioned on some internet source, if now you're tuning in, we're just asking you to please pay the same percentage of taxes that everybody else does. And then we can have a substantive conversation about what number the super wealthy of this country should pay. Then we can have that conversation. It's like what I was talking about before. We can't do either. So I'm not really going to waste a lot of time talking about both. We need to get to where we're all at the flat rate first before we start talking about the benefits of a progressive tax system, which we technically have, but we don't. We have essentially a regressive tax system currently with all the loopholes that you can use, like private jet. So,
I pay a higher percentage of my income every year than billionaires do.
Yeah.
I mean, I paid more taxes last year as a law school student than Netflix. You can't tell me that system's working. You can't tell me that's a functional system like that.
Because by the way, it's not working. What we have right now is not working.
It's like you can sit there all you want and be like, I don't want to tax people's success, but you've actually got to look at what's going on. Okay. Like you pay everybody who's listening to this podcast right now paid more taxes than Amazon and Jeff Bezos combined last year. Like just process that for a half a second and you'll realize that's fucked up.
And they made more in the time that it took for you to say that. Just in that time, they made more individually than you and I probably will make combined in the next year.
And by the way, there is zero chance that you are ever going to be Jeff Bezos. Like that's the other thing. Even if you make $1 million a year, you'll still never have the tax benefits of someone like that. You won't even be close.
Yeah.
Do you understand that? Like if you, like most people, including myself, if I made $200,000 in a year, I would bathe myself in money. I really would. I would take a bath in $1 bills.
Paper cuts be damned.
You would not even have a fraction of a percent of what Jeff Bezos makes in a year. You wouldn't be close. And by the way, the government wouldn't want to, quote unquote, incentivize you anywhere near the same level that he does. You wouldn't have the same tax loopholes available to you. You're still going to be paying a lot in taxes. You'll be paying a lot more in taxes than Jeff Bezos was as you make more money. So all these people that are doing really well out in the country, I don't understand how it doesn't piss them the fuck off. That like, really, they're the ones that are funding most of this. Because if you're making between $100,000 and $500,000 a year, give or take, you're the ones that are paying for most of this garbage. Instead of alleviating that tax burden on you and taxing the 1% or the top fraction of 1%, which we know for a fact will help with the deficit and help with inflation and help with all these other things. Like, I don't know. I'm personally sick and tired of waiting for this to trickle down. Wages have not gone up indexed to inflation in 30 years. House prices are rising very quickly, which means similar to what happened in 2008, these houses are debt, they're not assets. So we're setting up this same ticking time bomb to happen again, in which I'm going to have to watch what happened during the pandemic, which is throw billions of dollars at the people. And in the pandemic, I'm not going to say companies were responsible for it, but I'm saying like when this thing hits the fan, it won't be you and I getting bailed out. Okay. It'll be the banks. It'll be big business. It'll be Amazon. It'll be Apple. It'll be all these companies, and they still won't pay you more.
Yeah. So for what it's worth, at the beginning of 2020, so before the pandemic, Elon Musk's net worth was 27.2 billion roughly.
Mhm.
In one day, this last year, in one day, Elon Musk was up 25 billion. He is now the richest individual in the world. 25 billion with a B, with a capital B, in a day. Now, again, the tech bros are saying, no, he didn't make that much in like cash. If you need, if you're the person that feels the need to make that distinction, you're missing the point. Respectfully, you're missing the point, because what are we talking about?
Yeah, it's like
what's your point? Oh, so yeah, excuse me, he doesn't have that in cash. He has part of that in like stock options. My God,
congratulations, it's still his.
Yeah,
like,
and by the way, the stock option manipulation market, then it can sometimes be untaxed if you have a good enough tax lawyer. So it's you keep unraveling the ball of tape or whatever the hell the saying is. The closer you get to the core of it, the more you understand that it's circular. The more you understand that no matter what you say, it's just to distract from the fact what we're talking about is someone that is filthy, 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 filthy rich.
Not like your friend who owns a second house.
Exactly.
Okay.
What we're talking about is someone who actually went and asked, hey, you said ending world hunger would cost $8 billion.
And if you the plan.
If you show me the plan, I will give you the money. And he was serious.
Yeah, and they showed him the plan, and we're still waiting.
We're talking about people that billions of dollars could be spent in cash, by the way, and their life would be unimpacted. In fact, public opinion of Elon Musk would probably go very much up, which it should, by the way, if he just paid $8 billion to end world hunger. Okay, yeah. I'd say he earned 6 months from us not talking about him being taxed. 6 months, is that fair?
Yeah, I like
but guys, the benefit that he would get from doing that, it is self-serving in a way. But again, Elon, if Neuralink is connected, just do it. Please just do it. Who cares what I have to say?
Yeah, but everybody's got to realize that he is first and foremost a Twitter troll.
Yes.
Okay. And
yes, he is.
He does these things to make news. Yep. And then the response by the United Nations, when they actually gave him the plan, made no news. Okay. And it's not going to. And nobody's going to call him on this shit because he won't do an interview with anybody that'll call him on this shit. He's not going to tweet about it. So we're just kind of stuck. We're stuck in this world where everybody remembers the moment he did that and doesn't remember the fact that they actually provided him the plan that he asked for.
He's too busy. He's too busy taking interviews where he says that Warren Buffett's life seems boring.
100. He's just a Twitter troll. I'm sorry, that at his core, that is what he wants to do with his platform, because while many of his products have made the world a better place, he has not used his platform to make the world a better place in any conceivable measure, because I'm convinced that something happens to you when you have that much money, that you cannot see the world through a rational lens. You just can't. So,
Well, I mean, if you think about it, okay, so yeah, tease this out and then we'll move on to something else. That man has been about as right as you could possibly be, what, 4 times in his life?
yes.
He has done things that people would give half their body or their entire body to do once. And he's done it over. He's sold companies for sums of money that you and I think would go into a coma.
I mean, if I made as much as he does on the average day, I would never work again.
Yeah. So it's gotta morph your sense of worldview, right? When
100%,
when you have this sort of I can't do any wrong, and he's one of the few that it's about as right as you'll ever be.
And he's got the confidence he's got confidence based on real world accomplishments.
Like he's not irrationally confident. Like I want so badly to make a comparison to Dion Waiters, Eddie House, Javon Carter, like
it's not,
etc. It's not that at all. He's confident because he's really, really, really. I mean, there isn't a word to describe how good he is at what he does. There just isn't. There isn't a word in the English language to describe how amazing he is at what he does. So, I mean, it's a weird dichotomy. Like it's so much easier to dunk on Trump. It's so much easier to do stuff like that because Trump just has a track record of failing.
Yeah, of being a trust fund idiot.
So then when you go to Elon, it's just like he doesn't fail. He never really has on a big scale.
If he did, it wouldn't even affect him at this point.
Yeah. In fact,
people don't realize it's like if SpaceX never goes to the moon or Mars, it doesn't really matter.
In fact, and what's funny is I keep thinking of you finished Succession, right?
I have 2 episodes left.
Okay. Well,
unfortunately.
Well, okay. So then I won't get into the specifics of it, but there's a scene at the end. I forget if it's I think it's actually the last. It's either the second or the last episode, second to last or last episode, as Tim is messing with his background. Where the Gojo owner, they like talk shit about Mark Zuckerberg, but then he does this whole monologue about how like success bores him. And what really excites him is failure. That's the type of shit that Elon is doing on Twitter, where he's almost just inviting failure.
I think psychologically he wants it somewhere deep in his, because all of these people use failure and slights to motivate them. They all do it, every single one. And at a certain point, you have to make those up, because nobody is going to seriously say that Elon isn't intelligent, hasn't done a lot of good for the world, or doesn't build amazing products. It's just not true. So,
it's just that we know that he has some inkling to do positive in the world. So we want to be able to push that even further for him to do even more good in the world, because he has the capability to do it and it not impact his life. Is he the shittiest of the super, super wealthy people? No, he's not.
No, by a long shot.
No. But that's why he's the one that people get talked about.
He's the only one running his mouth all the time about it.
Well, that's true. That's fair.
He's the only one that's constantly like, by the way, they all do this. Gates does it. Buffett has done it in different instances. The Walton family never speaks, but We know how they feel about things. So they all do it, but Elon does it like every week. He's talking about tax rates, and it's like, you're just wrong.
I mean, you open
Like
up his
you're
Twitter.
not going to win this battle.
You open up his Twitter and it stops refreshing after 3 days.
Yeah.
You just go to his page. It stops refresh. At least my phone just did. It stopped refreshing the tweets after going back to 3 days. He's very online. He's very online.
Shut the fuck up.
And he's
always talking about it. Like
Anyways.
even his whole "we live in a simulation" thing. I wish he would do more of that, because at least there, I don't have definitive evidence that he's 100% wrong.
Yeah.
Like, just again, his story, I think, bothers liberals the most, because he was so on our side for so long.
Yep.
He was like our Iron Man or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Forever. And then it flipped once he actually was really rich, not just rich.
Shout out Iron Man 2, the opener.
Yeah. It would be like if Jay-Z went from where he was now and 100x'd his net worth, and then was all of a sudden talking about
and then cheated on Beyonce.
Well, no, stop it. Stop it. I'm not getting into that shit here. But I'm saying, if you got 100x and then it was all of a sudden you know what? I don't think I should have to pay taxes. That's what that's why this is such a big deal for us and other people who are like-minded.
So this is a perfect segue into something that I just want to briefly mention, and then we'll get out of here. So you want to speak about companies that aren't paying taxes. You want to talk about companies that are really just ruining America, if you want to be hyperbolic about it. Zillow. Any thoughts?
I have enjoyed their downfall more than just about any other company I possibly can.
What is your zestimate of their current company's value right now?
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is that when everybody in the industry is telling you, hey, this Zestimate tool is bullshit, it overestimates everything, and you're like, watch this, we'll prove that it's not, you kind of get what you deserve.
Yeah.
The tool doesn't work. It's never worked. It's been the bane of real estate agent and brokers' existence for years. And you just proved it doesn't work by buying houses at that rate.
So, and by the way, thank you.
Over again.
Thank you. You really showed your work on that one. That's just incredible.
And that's the thing with these tech companies, is that some of them are quote unquote light years ahead. Some of them really are just smart. As
the great Joe Lacob once said, and then missed the playoffs for 4 straight years or something. Or no, 3 years, I think. 2? Really?
Maybe even, I think it was just 1.
I think, the saying goes that time flies when you're having fun, but I think for that, I just relished in it so much that it felt so long, because it was just so beautiful.
It was 1 year. It was 1 year technically, because I made the playing game last year.
That's so. You and I both know that the playing game does not count.
Historically, it does.
And then and then they lost to a LeBron that was seeing 9 hoops.
So some of these tech companies really are smarter.
Yes.
But not all of them. Just because you're in Silicon Valley and you're worth billions doesn't actually make you smarter than everybody else automatically. See Zillow. What's the rent a workspace? WeWork. Okay. See any number of these electric vehicle startups that have come about over the last 5 years.
Right.
Okay. Having money and being in Silicon Valley does not automatically mean that everything you touch is going to turn to gold.
Right.
And that's what separates people who are running Zillow from Elon Musk.
Right.
Okay. Because they're both assholes to the highest degree possible. They both think they're always right. It's just one actually is.
Right.
And that's how you go from being just a billionaire to being private prison rich. So it's I should just buy a private prison. I mean, it's a good investment. I've got the money.
It's almost
That's what I'm talking about with that.
It's almost like a casino, but now we know that there are certain people that can bankrupt casinos. But I'm going to leave you with just one of my favorite rich guy quotes. It comes to us from the lovely Mark Cuban on a former HBO sports television show. what would I do with $3 billion? The way that they do it is just different. That's how their brain works. What would I do with $3 billion? Thanks everybody for listening. You can find us on all the socials, TFelix3412, LeDuc 32. We'll probably be back to you guys with a movie or maybe another hour-long rant about something. We'll see. Watch this space. Ted Cruz, please do us all a favor, and along with Elon Musk and et al., please go fuck yourself. Also, Neuro, please play us out.
One day, someday, fiction girl. She's my one day, someday. She's my one day, someday. Gotta have her, gonna call her baby. One day, someday. She's gonna call me baby, gonna have a family. I can see it in her eyes. Our future's so bright. Gonna wake up by his side. One day, someday. She's my one day, someday. Fiction girl. She's my one day, someday.